Trump's tariffs take effect.
Understand what you own, understand if you're taking too much.
We're on your side with a closer look at how this could affect your retirement plans. Plus, Alabama's top Republican says your wallet could see the impacts of tariffs, why he says patience is key right now. And breaking news in Birmingham tonight, 4 people trapped in an apartment fire and several families displaced. We'll tell you what we know just ahead.
Live on your side. First at 9 starts with First Alert Weather.
Welcome into this digital edition of First at 9. I'm Brittany Dion. We begin tonight with weather due to possible storms impacting your weekend. Sunday has been declared a First Alert Weather Day. Let's get right over to meteorologist Tania Michelle here with what we should expect. Tania.
Listen, we are tracking pretty much all modes of severe weather, but I will say that tornado threat remains very low. I think our greatest impacts will be those damaging winds and the hail. And again, that's your Sunday. That's April the 6th. We are watching where that severe threat is right now, and it still remains further to our west. Still seeing severe thunderstorm warnings and even tornado warnings popping off in parts of Arkansas. That's where the tornado watch is in effect right now, and we're watching that because that same system will move into our area as we approach the weekend. As far as our severe potential, that greatest severe risk will stand for further parts of West Alabama, areas west of I-65. The severe risk lessens as you move further east, but strong and maybe a thunderstorm can't be ruled out for all of the areas. So you want to make sure you are weather aware and prepared. As far as those start times, take a look. Midnight to 2 a.m. for far West Alabama and including north and west central Alabama. As we cross I-65 and move up further north and east, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. for an arrival time, and further south and east about 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. So again, you want to make sure you're staying weather aware and alert. For right now, it's still very warm out there. We have another near record breaking high in the afternoon for your Saturday. Temperatures tonight, though, 70s and 80s, and the winds still kicking out of the south. We're still seeing winds gusting up above 20 and even close to 30 miles per hour. So keep that in mind as you make plans over the next 24 to 48 hours. Winds will also be a concern Sunday, so the winds will be a problem over the next couple of days. Keep those outdoor objects nice and secure. More near record breaking highs for your Saturday. A storm possible Saturday late night. We'll talk more about that. And then we'll talk more about that First Alert Weather Day Sunday coming up when we take a full look at that super 7-day forecast.
All right, and now is the time to prepare. You can scan this QR code to download our First Alert Weather app to get updates on this weekend storm. You can also find shelter locations and get real-time updates throughout the day. Now to that breaking news out of 5 Points South in Birmingham. 4 people have been hurt in an apartment fire. Multiple families displaced tonight. It all happened on Cullum Street. Birmingham Fire Rescue say when they arrived to this 2-story apartment building, flames could be seen pouring from the 2nd floor. Crews rescued 4 people from this fire. 2 were taken to the hospital, 2 others treated and released. Chief Clay Hendon saying all 4 apartments were damaged and the 4 families who live there have been displaced. In other news, the global markets continue to show concern over President Donald Trump's tariffs. The major indexes dropping for a second straight day. The Dow Jones plunging 2,100 points today. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ tumbling nearly 6%. And China responding to those tariffs today, announcing it will impose 34% tariffs on all imports from the U.S. starting April 10th. President Trump, meanwhile, is continuing with his economic plans, saying more tariffs are coming on pharmaceuticals and semiconductor chips. And tonight we're on your side talking to financial experts about what's happening in the stock market and what it means for your money, especially if you're near retirement or already there. Here's your reporter, James Giles.
Friday, the U.S. stock market closed out its worst week since 2020. Senior advisor Marshall Clay from the Welch Group says now is the time to take a good look at your portfolio. At Friday's close, the Dow Jones dropped more than 2,100 points. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ both tumbled nearly 6%. Clay says if you're retired and your portfolio is down more than 14%, that's a red flag. He recommends adjusting your strategy, maybe even cutting back on stocks. But if retirement is still a few years away, the good news is this might be the perfect time to buy while prices are down. His biggest advice, don't panic. Don't try to time the market.
This is a volatile situation. We could have, the Trump team making, announcements that trade deals have been done with certain companies, as early as next week, and the market could could take that optimistic news and run with it, and we could have a pretty violent rebound. So you don't want to try to time this. You want to understand what you own, understand if you're taking too much risk. And if you were taking too much risk, you probably ought to just ride out the storm.
And for younger investors, Clay says now's the time to start making some smart long-term buys while prices are low. Your reporter in Birmingham, James Giles, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
Thanks, James. But it's not just your portfolio taking a hit. Alabama's highest-ranking Republican says Trump-era tariffs could impact your wallet in the near future. But your reporter Brady Talbert has more on why the Alabama GOP chairman says with patience, America will be better in the long run.
Chairman John Wall says the United States has been ripped off for decades. He believes these tariffs will help, but says they will likely come with some short-term side effects that could impact you.
It's going to be a correction, and corrections are always painful in the short term. But if we don't do it now, when do we do it?
Wall says President Trump is breaking the mold, making fundamental changes to the nation's economy. Just this week, a 25% tariff on imported cars went into effect, and this weekend, the president's 10% baseline tariffs on all imports goes into effect. Something experts say could impact the price you pay on everything from clothes to electronics.
It's going to take a few months, possibly several years, for this to correct. But in the long run, it's going to be better for America, it's going to be better for our economy, and it's going to be better for American workers. It's going to bring jobs back to America, it's going to bring industry back to America, and it's going to make America stronger in the long run.
Wall says this tariff tactic is about being aggressive. He says President Trump has a special personality, and this is a classic move for him. He believes this will encourage negotiations between the United States and other countries.
That's what makes Donald Trump different. He's a businessman, he's a negotiator, and he's not going to start from a place of weakness. He's going to let everybody know he's serious, that he's going to go, he has the nuclear option. We're the largest economy in the world. He's not afraid to use it, and that's going to bring people to the bargaining table where we're actually going to see that negotiator and that businessman come out.
Now, the Yale Budget Lab estimates that Trump's 2025 tariffs will increase prices by 2.3%, costing you about $4,000 more a year. But Wall says Trump is playing the long game, something Republicans hope will pay off. Back to you.
Thanks, Brady. In other news tonight, we now have new video showing a University of Alabama doctoral student as he was taken into custody by ICE. Alireza Durudi was taken into custody off campus last week, and we're just getting this surveillance video of that arrest. Durudi is wearing an orange shirt you see there. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says his student visa was revoked and claims he poses a significant national security concern. Authorities have not announced any charges in his arrest. Now, Durudi is currently being held in a detention facility in Louisiana. Right now, first at 9, a wrongful death lawsuit against 2 former Alabama basketball players has been dismissed following a settlement. The family of this woman, Jamia Harris, filed a federal lawsuit against former Alabama players Darius Miles and Brandon Miller, as well as Michael Davis. Davis and Miles are charged with capital murder after Harris was shot and killed near the Strip in January of 2023. Miller has not been charged, but prosecutors say he took Miles the gun. Now, federal court records say as part of this settlement, a trust has been set up for Harris's son, who was 5 when his mother was killed. In other news tonight, an update first at 9 on those recent arrests involving Glock switches. The Jefferson County District Attorney and Crime Stoppers say these arrests show officers are taking this new law seriously and enforcing it. Just having one of those conversion devices can get you a Class C felony, which carries up to 10 years in prison. DA Danny Carr says that gives state prosecutors the power to crack down on what he calls dangerous devices that even people trained in handling guns have trouble controlling.
As my grandmother used to always say, you know, they don't realize the stove is hot until they end up having to touch it. And what I mean by that is end up having to be standing in front of a judge with a prosecutor at the other table saying that they should be sent off to prison.
2 teenagers have already been arrested in Birmingham in connection to Glock switches. Both are being held in the Jefferson County Youth Detention Center. In a sad news report tonight, a landscaper died this afternoon when his lawnmower flipped and fell on him. You're looking at video in Homewood. Police saying this happened right near the I-65 North ramp at Oxmoor Road. Police say the landscaper was riding the lawnmower up the embankment when it flipped. He worked for a private company that was contracted through the city. The man has not been identified. Well, we're hearing tonight from Bessemer City Schools after a viewer called WBRC to let us know the air wasn't working properly at Bessemer City High School. District leaders tell us the cooling issue was reported Wednesday. Affected areas include the cafeteria, the counseling suite, and a section of classrooms. A part is needed to make the repairs and should arrive Monday. According to leaders who tell us tonight, they take concerns impacting student and employee health and safety seriously. Now, with Sunday being a first alert weather day due to storms, we're on your side asking if churches are canceling any plans this weekend. Centerville Baptist Church in Bibb County says it'll make that call tomorrow morning. According to EMA directors in the region, the 10 a.m. weather briefing tomorrow morning is when everyone will be able to get the latest weather information. And from there, pastors and priests will decide what they should do either way. Now, no church cancellations in Hale County, according to EMA Director Russ Whedon.
So right now, it looks like we're going to be fine for church. So that's something my church just asked me. So we'll keep a close check on that the closer it gets. But it looks like the timing for us, it'll be should be through here by 9 o'clock. So we should be good for the early morning service.
Now, Whedon says for Hale County, he anticipates their storm window to be between 5 and 9 Sunday morning. Of course, you can keep updated with all of this with us. Here's Tania.
Thanks, Brittany. It's time for weather every 6 minutes. Lots going on as we approach the weekend, but not terrible, okay? So don't let the storm anxiety get to you this time around. Our tornado threat right now remains very low, still non-zero, but still low. So we're not expecting a major tornado outbreak, but a severe storm still cannot be ruled out as we approach your early Sunday morning. That's why we declared Sunday a first low weather day, but we really need to get through Saturday because there could be some storms trying to move in Saturday night. But the good news is much of your Saturday is shaping up to be dry. Here's our latest model runs. This one's showing around 3 p.m. There could be some wet weather trying to push into far south and really west Alabama, and maybe some storms across our northern counties. These are new model runs. And then it shows that, hey, the main line of storms may not even move into northwest central Alabama until a little later into your Sunday morning. But still, we need to pay very close attention still after about midnight for that main threat of storms across the area. Here we are by 1 p.m. seeing that greater storm chance for East Alabama. Need to watch that as well. And then we bring in 9 o'clock, still seeing some rain around. We thought this system was going to move in and move out, but it looks like there could be some rain and storms around throughout much of your Sunday, even during the daylight and early evening hours. So just keep that in mind for any outdoor plans you might have. You definitely want to make sure you use the WBRC First Alert weather app so that you can get notifications when heavy rain, lightning, hail is near you, all those updates, and you can follow the radar and see where the rain is at and where it's heading. As we look into later next week, and really the start of next week, we're trending a lot cooler. Highs Monday only in the 50s. Temperatures will drop because cold air is going to follow that frontal system. We're going to see temperatures again in the 50s and maybe some low 60s across central Alabama early Monday morning. But look at that 59 around Haleyville area and in Coleman County. Some mid to low 60s further south as well. I wouldn't say that's heavy coat weather, but you will want a sweater and jacket. Temps starting off in the 40s early Monday morning, heading to work and school, and then staying below 60 degrees for most areas by the time we reach Monday afternoon. Now Tuesday doesn't look terrible, but I wanted to show you where that cold air comes in, and you can see it filtering in for us. And early Tuesday morning, some low 40s in areas far north central Alabama and North Alabama in general could drop down into the 30s, so posing a freeze threat and frost possibilities for next week. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you've already started planting those gardens, you want to start thinking now about how you're going to cover those sensitive crops so they can withstand any frost that could occur as we approach middle of next week. I do think next Wednesday, as of right now, looks like the coldest morning, but both Tuesday and Wednesday look pretty chilly. And then we bring into the later portions of next week, and we could see some rain, maybe some storms. Looks like the second half of your Thursday, possibly overnight, early Friday morning. Here we are Thursday, 7 p.m. Seeing a good chance for some moisture building back in across the area. Maybe a little front that's trying to push through that may bring us a few showers. So we're going to hold that 40% for next Thursday. There could be a storm in the mix as well, so keep that in mind. We'll talk more about that 7-day coming up when we're on TV after sports on WBRC. Brittany?
All righty, Tania, thank you. And thank you for joining us for this digital edition of First at 9. We'll see you, as Tania said, in a few on TV for WBRC News at 10 after the game. Have a great weekend.